Pinterest marketing, exclusive updates plus high value markets. That's a high value market sound. And then this is also a high value market sound. That's another sound that is very important to hear when you're using a platform like Pinterest. Now, Pinterest is one of the most underrated platforms I know. That for sure is a fact because not everybody is using Pinterest for marketing. People use Pinterest for ideas. People use Pinterest for pinning. People use Pinterest for all kinds of things, but not everybody uses Pinterest for marketing. And when you use Pinterest for marketing, it changes everything. So before we go and do this in a really really sequential way, I'm really excited that we're going to talk about this today. And happy Friday. Thanks for being here, Candice, Lynette, good to see you. Nevin, Destiny, Andrew, Guy, Amber, and Clinton, you're all welcome today, and I hope you're all going to enjoy today's discussion because Pinterest marketing is something that is not talked about a lot. And I felt like today is perfect for that because we've been handling Pinterest accounts and managing them and building and understanding, okay, what's going on here on Pinterest? And we realized that Pinterest is one place you want to have some type of online presence because when you look at Pinterest from the perspective of creating content, you're no longer just looking at it from a content perspective, you're looking at it from a marketing perspective. So there's some things on Pinterest that if you know about, and here's some updates I want to give you today so that you're able to know if you really want to use Pinterest for the right reasons. Pinterest is going to be that platform for you. If you have a product business, e-commerce business, if you sell books, if you have Amazon affiliate links, if you're a blogger, if you are a service-based business, if you're a coach, if you're a corporation, if you're a private-based company, if you're an enterprise, it doesn't matter. You can be on Pinterest because people ask, can I be on Pinterest? Is Pinterest for me? Yes. There's something called Pinterest business. So if you have a business, you can be on Pinterest. But the thing is, when you have a Pinterest business account, how do you use that account to now build awareness for people? How do you connect those accounts and let more people find you? That starts off with your connections, right? And when people follow you on Pinterest, when they find you on Pinterest, they're going to connect. One of the hardest places to get followers is Pinterest because people don't follow you on a search engine. People find you on a search engine. They don't follow you. But if they follow you on a search engine, that means there's a good thing about your content. YouTube, people think YouTube is social media. You can call it social media, but it's a search engine first because Google bought YouTube and SEO is heavy on YouTube and Google. That's why when you look at results on the Google search results, you get YouTube videos. Those YouTube videos are optimized for SEO, and that's why they're within the search platform filter. You don't see a Facebook video or an Instagram video on Google. You might find it in Google Perspectives, but you wouldn't find it on Google News or Google's timeline. So if you're looking at Pinterest, think about it like Google Images. So technically, if you're on Pinterest, you're on Google Images. And if you're on Google Images, it means you're on Google. But it doesn't mean that you're on Google Images without being on Google first. So don't skip the line because when you create a Pinterest business account, your Pinterest business account is going to be claimed by your website. So when you claim your website on Pinterest, you're claiming ownership of your content 100% on Pinterest. Even Pinterest says you claim 100% of everything that you post through your Pinterest business account. So if you even post somebody else's content, maybe like UGC content, or you want to repurpose, or you want to repost, just like we all do on social media, then on Pinterest, you're getting earned traffic compared to another platform socially where you just remix a platform or remix a video and all you get is a like, a follow, or a comment. But on Pinterest, you get earned media, you get earned impressions. That means people that actually see you, they like you, because you could have a Pinterest business account and have different sections, because when you have different boards on Pinterest, it creates order, right? On Instagram, of course, there's going to come a time, and I'm sure it's already here because I've seen some things like that where you can rearrange the grid of your Instagram feed, which is great, right? But that does not compare to Pinterest when you actually have folders, or which they call boards, right? Pinterest boards, and boards are folders. So if you walk into a Trader Joe's, into a Whole Foods, you're walking in and you're going to the aisle that is going to take you to where you want to get the item on your grocery list. That's because you're going to that aisle. So if you're going to that aisle, it's because you're interested in that product or in that item. So the same thing applies to your Pinterest when you create a board. When you create a board, it means that you're creating interest for this specific topic. So if I like butterflies, all the butterflies are going to be in this board. If I like tables, what kind of tables? Ceramic tables, marble tables, wood tables, vintage, whatever it is, you put that in a section. That section within that board is now the board that you're going to name. So when you're naming these things and you're calling it Pinterest marketing now becomes where you're using interest to market to your audience, right? Because when you take off the P off Pinterest, it's interest. That's the direct response. Interest meaning that I have a liking for something and I have a wanting for something or a need for something, right? If I like something, I want it. If I like something, I need it, right? That's usually the next step after liking something. Oh, I like your hair. Oh, I like your shoes. Oh, okay, I like this. Do I want it? Nah, I'm good. If I do I need it? Not really. But if that's something you want, you're like, okay, where did you get that? I've been looking for it all day. Okay, where'd you get it from? Okay, boom. Now you got it. Now there's a different conversation altogether. So you know what you like, but at the same time, before you even buy what you have today, you had to like it first, right? You had to like the person that you're currently with before you became with the person. So there has to be a likeness first, right? Even biblically, we were made in God's likeness, and in His likeness we were made, male and female. So that means when we're looking at content, when we're looking at markets, when we're looking at people, when we're looking at communities, we're not just looking at posts or reposts. We're looking at information that's going to help someone understand what they're looking for. Pinterest is a platform that has 97% of searches that are unbranded. So people don't go to Nike shoes and type that, oh, I'm looking for New Balance shoes. Okay, let me go to Pinterest. People don't do that. People go to Google, they go to Amazon, they go to the actual retail store, they go to TikTok, they go to places where they're going to see this product move before they decide on even making a move in the first place. That's where that comes in. Pinterest is where people go to plan. So if you're a planner and if you are a business owner, you should have some level of planning somehow, somewhere. Because when you're planning for something, you're planning ahead. If you're planning to launch a campaign, an ad, a book, a podcast, it starts off with planning. So when you plan for a successful pathway. It's always not going to be the way you want it to be, but at least you have a direction how it should look like or what it should be. So if you're looking at Pinterest, Pinterest is going to be that platform that you can use to accelerate your marketing techniques. Why? Let me give you some really cool insights so that if you've never heard of this before, this is something that you Got to check out exclusive update number 1. Pinterest allows you to connect your Instagram to your platform, meaning that if you have an Instagram business account, then you can log in on your Pinterest business account and integrate your Instagram business account to your Pinterest business account. And that creates something called a folder. So we talked about a folder. Instagram doesn't have folders or boards. So you end up bringing all your content from Instagram. If you have 100 photos or 100 posts, all those 100 posts are going to be how do I say this? They're going to be installed, or how do I say this? Yes, they're going to be parsed through, and now there's going to be a duplicated copy that's going to be made from Instagram.com into Pinterest.com. So you literally have 2 counts instead of 1, meaning that before you installed this system or had Pinterest, you only had 1 Instagram post. Now you have 1 Instagram post, and now you have 1 Pinterest pin that links to the same Instagram post. So that means if you're on Google Images and you have a website connected, that's 3 counts. So you have a website that has an article. In that article, you have a board. In that board, you have content that's linking to your Pinterest. So when you're creating all this content from Instagram to Pinterest and back to your website, that's going to allow you to have a high value market. Why? Because when you start creating content consistently, that's when people get to know you. There's no way you can post something once and expect someone to see you, right? So the whole point of a high value market means that there's a high value attention. When something has high value attention, it means that it's repeating itself. If there's a siren that is going to be running, or you hear a siren in the air, or you see a siren, or you hear a siren from afar, it sounds like it's repeating itself, right? You're hearing the sound. That's high value. That's high attention, right? It's repeating itself. That means everybody pay attention, right? That's exactly what it's going to look like. If it's going to just make one sound, like a siren, maybe a blip sound, no one's going to, everyone's going to be like, okay, cool. But if it's repeating itself, it's going to show that there's a high intensity, right? So it's the same thing with your content. If you've said something the first time, don't expect that thing to just show up everywhere because you said it the first time. You have to say it more than once, because there's a 4-7-11 rule, right? People have to think about spending that time with you within at least 7 to 12 touch points to have at least one conversion, meaning that they would have had to listen to you all week, or at least got your email, or heard about you somewhere, or something happened in the week where they found you online, or they connected with you on LinkedIn. Something should have happened in the week that they should have done their own due diligence, their training, their research, and then come to you saying, hey, I'm ready, because there was something for them to look at. If there was nothing for them to look at, there's no way that conversation will go past where it left or where it stopped. So for you to look at Pinterest as the place to be, is an exclusive place to have your content. Why? Because if you want your Instagram to look picture perfect, like everybody likes their Pinterest to look like a certain kind of class, right? Because you want to catch the aesthetic. Now, if you want to do something like that, Pinterest is going to be your perfect playground, right? Because for Pinterest content marketing purposes, Pinterest marketing allows you to have a way where you can actually market your content on Pinterest without having to worry about how many pins I can do. So you can create pins, and those pins, let's say you have 5 points from one blog. Now, when you have 5 points from one blog, you're going to end up with 5 different pointers or 5 different subtopics. Now, what happens is when you have those different subtopics, you can now have 5 different pins or 5 different posts that are going to explain that one thing. Now, how are you going to determine which one is the best, right? If you write, and this is a quick test you can think about for Pinterest marketing, because this is the real source. Like if you're thinking about strategies or applying actual concepts, this is going to be it right here. This is what you got to do. Step 1, create a blog on your website. Cover the topics you want to discuss. When you're done with the article and you've published it, now you have pointers. You have 5 pointers. Second point, go to Canva, Adobe, whatever AI tool you're using, and create content that's going to be visually appealing, that's branded, which you can now use to explain what you've just published as an article. The next thing is you take the points that you've made off the article and turn them into bullet points on the visual, either bullet points or quick words or, pointers. It could be head terms, whatever you want to do to explain the concept in full. Then you take that and create it within an aspect ratio that Pinterest gives you. Because Pinterest also has a very specific way on how you post, because you don't want to be using Instagram size pictures, square pictures, and putting that on Pinterest. It's not going to work. It will work, it will be uploaded, but it won't give you the best experience because people use their phones, their tablets, they use their computers or laptops. They use something that's going to let them have a closer look at your pin. And if your pin is feeling good online and you have these 5 points, for example, these 5 points can now be clicked individually on Pinterest and each of them can be linked back to your website. So that means if you have 5 points, now you have 5 images from one blog. That means you have 5 links from one blog. That's compounding interest on Pinterest. You have 5 points on one blog. Now, out of those 5 points, you've pointed each and every one of those pins back to your website. So you're getting traffic, one, you're getting impressions, two. Now, from those impressions and from that traffic, you're also getting leads. Now, from those leads, you're getting follows, you're getting subscribers, you're getting opt-ins, you're getting a lot of things happening at the same time. Now, at the end of the week, you've looked at a 7-day cycle and say, okay, let me go back and see out of these 5, which one did the best. You realize, okay, number 4 was the best point because number 4 had the most impressions. Now that number 4 has the most impressions, I would take number 4 and now take number 4 to Instagram. You see what I just did? So if you do that, it means that every time you show up on Instagram, you're not guessing about how many impressions this post is going to have because you've already done a pre-analysis, you've already done a focus drive, you've already done a content discovery tool channel, you've already created a pathway to understand, okay, this is a point that people online are looking forward to understanding more of. So I'll take that 4th point, put it on Instagram, do even a more detailed explanation and maybe do a video of that 4th point and then bring it back home and talk about the rest of the points. But start off with number 4. What you've just done is you've created a cycle of awareness that people start off with understanding you are the person that's going to solve their problem first. And because you're using Pinterest to market, welcome Dana and Renee and Guy. Once you're using this, right, your goal is to make sure that you have that long-term plan that's going to give your business a much higher response rate. Because now when you're in a high value market like Pinterest, that's where people are going to be looking for your content. That's where they're going to be searching for things because Pinterest has a let me say it this way. Pinterest has a taste bud of 2 things: interest and keywords. Interest and keywords. When you have interest and keywords, you have to create it in a way that's going to also bring in attention and retention. So when you have those points and you start off with point number 4 and you now publish it like that, that means you're now going to be using those points as your strong pointers to now bring it back into your fold. So when you're creating conversations online, you're starting off with what's important first. That's why when you hear the news starts off with the headlines first. Yes, you want to hear the story, but here's the headline first because that's what's going to attract you to the story, right? If I just talk about Pinterest marketing, yay, 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 you'd be like, okay, cool story. And then you keep moving about your day. But if I'm talking about exclusive updates and high value markets, then you're wondering, okay, what about the market can I do to actually be in this position where I can also use this concept and be in the market where I can actually thrive. Because when you start running ads on Pinterest, when you start running ads on Google, YouTube, Meta, LinkedIn, TikTok, Reddit, Snapchat, anywhere you're going to be running ads, even on billboards with KC, if you're using TV with Vibe, whatever you're using this for, at the end of the day, the goal is how am I going to get the person who is actually interested in what I'm talking about to stay? Because not everyone's going to stay. Not everyone's going to stick around. But the ones who are going to stay and stick around are the people who are interested and who are actually invested, right? So if you're interested and you're invested, then there's going to be a level of attention that's going to keep you connected. And that connection is what a lot of people are looking for, because you keep looking for this person, you keep trying this, you keep trying that. It's working, it's not working. At some point, you're going to be like, "Ugh, I'm tired." But you don't want to get tired, especially when you know that you have a mission. So that's why I always make sure that it's not just about content that you're putting out there. You have to first do your research, right? Before you even start the first point I gave you a few minutes ago, start off with research. Go to answerthepublic.com. Go to answersocrates.com. Go to sparktoro.com. Go to Google Trends. Go to Pinterest Trends. Go to all these platforms and find out what's going on in the market. What are people saying, right? And then from there, you're able to now know what questions people are asking. When you know what questions people are asking, you answer them in form of media. When you answer a question in form of a multimedia format, whether it's through a text, audio, or video, including image, which is going to be across the whole board, then that's how you're able to really connect. Pinterest marketing is one of the best places that you can actually connect with people, because when you're on Pinterest, you're creating interest and keywords, right? That's the taste bud. Interests and keywords, interests and keywords, interests and keywords. If I'm interested in something, I'm going to type it. If I'm typing something, it's because I'm interested in it. So it's always going to have that yin yang moment. So when you're using Pinterest marketing, you're marketing on Pinterest to become the person of interest. When you're marketing on Pinterest, you're looking to be the person of interest. I want that to sink in, because this is the core meat and potatoes of this topic today. If you catch this, if you get this, then you're golden. You're good to go. Because once you're able to be the person of interest, meaning that people are interested in your content. Why? Because it's colorful, because it's contextual, because it's resourceful, because it's helpful, because it's savable, it's clickable, it's heavy on response, it's heavy on delivery, it's heavy on feedback, it's heavy on experience, then yes, you will definitely get that big reward. And I think a lot of people would see that Pinterest is a place that you can actually love to be on, because if you just use Pinterest for marketing purposes, even if you're using Pinterest as a testing ground for marketing, you know how people say, okay, I'm going to do social media and start posting everywhere. If you're really particular about your business, you can be in Pinterest like in the back, and you're using Pinterest to analyze your data, to like post, to test, to evaluate, to understand. You can run ads. You can even run $1 a day ad. $30 a month, that's a tax write-off. $30 a month, you're running ads. You do that ad run, you run it out there for 30 days, wherever you want to run it to, and you get feedback based on data. You get the age, you get the gender, you get the device, you get the region, you get the zip code. And I love Pinterest because you can actually target by zip code. So once you get to know exactly where these people are, who's interested and who's invested, then you can now go back and do a retargeting campaign at a lower cost and have a much higher outcome, because you have a longer lifespan and you have a longer lifetime value with the customer. So it starts off with, how do you want to start connecting with people? Pinterest is the greatest place you can actually do this. So if you think about Pinterest marketing or Pinterest content marketing, then the more you're able to market your content on Pinterest, the more people are going to be interested in what you're talking about in the market. The high value market here is, what are you bringing to the table that is hot? What are you bringing to the table that is served? What are you bringing to the table that is fresh? What are you bringing to the table that is new? Because anything that comes to Pinterest for the first time is considered as a new pin. If you posted this post on January 1st, 2025, today is what? January 27th, sorry, June 27th, 2025. Between January 1st, 2025 and June 27th, 2025, Pinterest never saw your pin. Now, because you posted that pin for the first time on Pinterest, it is new. So it may not be new to you, but it's new to people that have never seen it on Pinterest. Now they've seen a pin that they like, and that pin they like, they're going to click on that pin. And when they click on that pin is going to turn into a post. And when it turns into a blog, that's when people are able to read through and they're going to read along. They'll be like, oh, wow, I didn't know there was more like this. Or 7 ways to clean your home, without having to use chemicals. What? Oh, let me click on that. Boom. You see all these products, all these things starts to happen. And then you realize, okay, there's way more than this that can actually be built in. So it depends on how you want to do it. And I'd love to hear from you too, Mo. Thank you for being here. Happy Friday. How are you? What are you thinking about Pinterest? And have you used it? If you have, what have you seen? If you haven't, what are you thinking?
Hey, brother. Thanks for bringing me up. Yeah, so I am such a novice at Pinterest. Right? They're sending me stuff, wedding dresses and men's suits. So I really need to go in and my preferences so I can, stop with that. But definitely, that's definitely on the agenda for July to pick up the pace on Pinterest. Right. I've been looking at some Canva docs for the infographics and all that. So we're definitely going to be launching, and you're going to be hearing a lot more from me on Pinterest soon.
Okay. Tell me more. I'm actually interested. What are you planning? What do you want to do on Pinterest that is going to be unique to your marketing efforts for Q3?
Yeah, right. Today's like the last day of like Q1, right? I mean Q2, right? Hold on for me 1 second. I'm cooking some burgers, so I'll be right back.
Definitely, we don't want to burn no no burgers. So thank you for being here, Mo. I can't wait to hear your feedback on this. And as we're waiting for Mo to come back, welcome Keisha, Dominic, Geoff, Jamila, and Neelam. Thanks for being here. Renee, thanks for being here too. We're gonna be here talking about Pinterest, for the next few minutes. Wow, look at that. Renee, I was thinking about reaching and then we just literally did a high five just now. So that's crazy. Hey Renee.
High five. Yeah. Well, I what I'm really excited about, I've wanted to get into Pinterest, and honestly, I've thought about getting into Pinterest just as like I think people call it a search engine because the way that I understand it, and I think you've explained that really well today, is that it's the pins last. I didn't really understand how they last, but this is what I've been told. It's like, whereas say on Instagram or Facebook or something like that, we go down the feed and people literally have to come to our um they have to like get on our page and then scroll through, and maybe some people do, but I don't typically do. That's not how I use social media. I feel like the algorithm just feeds me random stuff, and then I'm clicking on random stuff and stuff that I'm not even really interested in. I'm just like, if I get on Instagram, I'm just like kind of randomly clicking around. I'm not looking for anything. Whereas what I'm understanding you to say is that people are literally going to Pinterest looking just like they would go to Google and look for something. So I guess one of the questions I have is, do you know how say Pinterest is working with, say, AI, Chat GPT. If is Chat GPT searching and working with Pinterest, and then how else can we could we create something? I mean, boards, we can create boards that are within our niche, but is there another way that we can highlight what we're doing on Pinterest that that you could share with us? And thank you so much.
You're welcome, Renee. Great questions. AI and repurposing, that's a big one. Pinterest is a great place for that. You got me thinking about something new, and I feel like this is something you can also try and do if you want to see the full effect of Pinterest. With AI, they do have actually integrated AI into their ads manager. So I remember having a meeting with Pinterest. This was like early 2024, and then towards the beginning of 2025, they now officially started running. I think this was during the holiday campaign for, Christmas last year. And during that time, they were now, testing things when it comes to Pinterest performance. That's what it's called, Pinterest performance. So with Pinterest performance, it's a purple plus sign. And when you turn it on, when you're running ads, it allows you to run ads based on the AI discovery. So, for example, if you have a product and you're selling shoes, and let's say you've taken shoes in a place that doesn't have really good lighting or it doesn't have like a good background, the AI in Pinterest, when you're running ads, when you have the product section you upload, you can now actually make an edit to make sure that you can use the AI and actually script it to say, hey, Pinterest, make sure that this background is going to fit this shoe, or use this color, use this hex code, and it's going to create that for you. So when it creates that for you, it also has a conversion lift. So whenever you turn it on, the AI is also within the algorithm going to make sure that your post is being seen. So another good thing about Pinterest is that when you're thinking about repurposing, like you said, what's going to make people stick, especially right now, a lot of people don't do this on Pinterest. And if you do this early, which is what we do, and it does a great job, is if you combine AI and animation. If you combine AI and animation on Pinterest, you can do so well because people want to be on Pinterest and they want to connect. They want to feel connected. Hey, Hussein, welcome to room, and Z, welcome to room too. Juhi and Shriti and Dominic, you're welcome. You're thinking about this long term and seeing that if you're using AI and you're using animation, you can go a really long way, especially with AI, because there are not so many pictures that are AI made or AI driven. Because if you now use AI images on Pinterest that are looking good, because not every AI image looks good either. AI images that look good, that have a very well done photo, like it looks like an actual photo, like it's something you can even frame. Welcome, Shay. You can actually frame this AI image. It's because it's looking that good. You're going to link that AI image back to your website, to the link that people can click through to find the information behind that image. When you do that, you're doing two things at the same time. One, you're getting Pinterest attention because Pinterest algorithm is called Pixie, Pixie. You're getting Pixie's attention. And because Google Lens is technically like Pinterest Lens, right? Because, like you were saying earlier, Renee, that you just get all kinds of random images. The reason why you're getting those images is probably because you've not curated your feed. It's just like when you open Instagram for the first time, they ask you to follow this person, this person, this person. You don't follow anybody, you go to explore feed, you're going to get anything and everything there, from farming to restaurants to real estate to hiking to anything. So by the time you switch it and you say, okay, no, I actually want to follow this, or I want to follow that, then it now starts to learn you, because in the beginning, it doesn't really know. It's like a baby. You don't know what's going to happen until things start to happen. And you realize, okay, this, yes, this, no, this, yes, this, no. And then from there, you're connecting with people. So when you use Pinterest to market to your audience and you're using it as a testing ground, you have a much better outcome. Because if the winner of the post that you pin on Pinterest is the winner that you bring out to Instagram, and you have one post on Instagram, but you have three pins on Pinterest, Guess what? Now you have five. Why? Because, and you wonder, how did it turn to five? You have one on Instagram, you have three on Pinterest, and because you just did one on Instagram and anything you post on Instagram is pushed to Pinterest, now you have one count on Pinterest. So that means you have two of the same one that you pulled out from Pinterest, now that becomes two. That becomes a whole dichotomy. So when you now create that element, now what you've done is you've empowered your post to now gain more attraction to that pin that actually did well within the first 7 days. And then that's how you're able to now take it to the next level and now say, okay, I'm going to run this as an ad. Then I'm going to use the AI to now run it as an ad to understand exactly who my audience is. Welcome, Angie and Alicia. When you do that, you're now going to create more and more attention and awareness that eventually people will now want to connect back to you because you're the person that's showing up on their timeline. And the reason why people create boards is so that when I see something for the first time, I'm going to come back. It's like Instagram. If I follow you right now and I leave and I come back 2 hours later, I'm going to see one of your pins or one of your posts on my timeline because it's the first time I'm following you. So I've never seen you on my timeline. Now, Instagram is going to give me your best video or one of your best videos. And it will be one of the videos that is most connected to what I like in terms of context, right? Because when you look at people's posts, even on TikTok, you're not going to get everyone's pin or post. You're going to get the information that is related most connected to what you actually watch online. So if you follow that person, it's because it's something you like. So if there's 30% of that content you like that is related to what you like, then that's what you're going to get from that feed. So when you do the same thing on Pinterest, if you show up and you like that post or that pin, you leave, you come back, what you just did is you've now created a section that allows somebody to come back and see another pin from the same board that you pinned from. So when you now start pinning from boards, you're pinning from aisles because if aisle one is groceries, or let's say aisle one is produce, aisle two is meat, aisle three is cookies, aisle four is whatever it could be, right? Fill in the blank. Now those become different places that people go to. We could have driven to the same location, to the same Trader Joe's, but we're leaving with different items. We're living in different bags. We're living with different receipts because we came to the same place, the same platform, but we're leaving with different informational pieces that will help us get to where we need to go. So, to your answer, Renee, when you create content on Pinterest, the goal to use it with AI is to make sure that you have content that is linking back to your website. Because when you have content on Pinterest, it means that you have links that are linking back to your website. So technically, your Pinterest images become Google images. And because Pinterest trusts Google, Google now puts you within the Google Images tab. When that starts to happen, now you become an authority so that when ChatGPT is looking for who to source from, it's from those source files that they're going to pull you out from. But if you're not from there, it can't pull you out from that library. So the more you're on a platform that is generating a visual search engine, and it's accelerating your content by actually putting you on the map visually, then it's faster. That's why podcasting is one of the fastest ways to growth when you think about it and you do it correctly. Pinterest too. But the reason why people don't really think about Pinterest is because it sounds like a lot of work. You got to pin this, you got to board this, you got to type this. That's why Pinterest is a platform that is heavily advised and encouraged and definitely recommended to be done when it's off management. Because if you're just going to do a Pinterest account, like you're going to do a LinkedIn account, it's not going to last long before you're going to get tired. Because Pinterest is a platform that you have to be very, very rigorous. Like for us, we have clients and we make sure that every month we have at least 400 pins a month. So in 3 months, when we have a quarterly plan, that's about 1,200 pins in a quarter. And how many blogs out of those 1,200 are going to see that happen? Because every pin, so think about it, think about the compound interest and what you're investing in. Every pin is worth 5 months. So if you hire someone to do social media for you, to post on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, compare that to me, that's just Pinterest. And of course, Instagram now, because Instagram is connected to your Pinterest. So anything that you post on Instagram is technically pushed to Pinterest. In 5 months, or even in 3 months, I can still benefit from what I've posted within 3 months, within the next 3 years, compared to what you've posted on Instagram in 3 months that will not be seen within the next 3 weeks after those 3 months. So when you start looking at the longevity of your pin, because an Instagram post is about 72 hours, that's the half life. Because I don't know anybody who has seen a pin or an Instagram post that maybe you've seen is 5 weeks old that is on your feed for the first time. It's unlikely, unless it's very related or it's something that has been run as an ad. It's unlikely for you to see that because Instagram loves fresh content. What is the Instagram outfit of the day? That is today. That's current. You're never going to get anything beyond a certain time. Even if you get it maybe 5 days, that's cool, but you'll never get a 5-month post showing up on your fresh timeline feed. So using Pinterest is the greatest tool you can use to test your market, to understand what they like, to understand what they feel, and then you can also connect to them even more. You know what's even really interesting about Pinterest is that on Instagram, people now say that, and which is true, that when you get more saves than likes, that's a good indication that you have a great post or you have a post that is really, really, really done well. That's great. But guess what? If you have 1,000 saves on Instagram, you're never going to know what those 1,000 saves are. You'll only know there were 1,000, and that's it, because it's on a platform you don't own. That's a second party platform. It's a platform that you can control, but you don't own. A website is a first party platform. You own it and you control it. A third party platform, you don't control it, you don't own it.
So wait, just quick. So Pinterest is a third party. It's third party, right?
Second.
It's second. Okay, so that's why you say. I apologize for the background noise. But we'll do it anyway. So, so you want to make sure that everything gets linked back from Pinterest to your website, or, and this was my other question, would there be any reason, say, to link back to a Clubhouse conversation like this? Do you use it that way at all?
You can do it that way too. Yes, I've done that myself. And even doing it, like if you have a podcast and you link straight to Spotify, link straight to Apple, link straight to Reddit, link straight to your LinkedIn, and you link straight to your YouTube from Pinterest, you get 100% credit. So think about it this way. Let me just say it this way to make it even more, how do I make this even clearer as well? Yes, how do you link it to your website? Jamila, great question. Happy Friday. You link it to your website because there's a section on Pinterest. Whenever you create a pin, there's a section anytime it says title, description, alt text, where do you want to save it, to, which board you want to save it to. There's a section that says destination link. That destination link is where you paste that link. So now, when you're creating these links, you're putting these links within your website. And when you're putting these things on your website, you're creating content that is eventually going to be seen by people who are going to find you outside Pinterest. You're welcome, Jamila. So, Renee, when you're looking at this from a 30,000 viewpoint, you're looking at Pinterest as a place where you want your content to live. Because if you're getting 100% credit for everything that you post. It means that if you post a YouTube video link on your Pinterest platform, YouTube does not get that 100% equity. You do. That's how deep it is. And you may not see it like that because it's not really stated or said, but that's what's happening technically. If you
Okay.
post, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. So, what I'm trying to understand, I think this is so awesome, and it's so helpful to me, and I hope it is to others. But okay, so that's 100% say equity on behalf of Pinterest and you, right? But then if I post like what we would call the native post on Instagram, then I get 100% equity on Instagram, and if I do something native, which it means it originates on Facebook, like I go Facebook Live, then, or I post of instead of reposting something from Instagram to Facebook, that I still get 100% equity. So we're talking in this case, Pinterest gives us 100% credit on behalf of Pinterest. Is my understanding that correctly?
Yeah, you got that right. Exactly. If you post from Instagram and you have a Pinterest connected, if you leave it on Instagram only, it's going to be 0% credit. If that Pinterest ends up having your Instagram post on your Pinterest account, now you have 100% equity, because Pinterest gives you that full equity when you claim your website on Pinterest within the settings section of your Pinterest business account. So everything you do is Pinterest based and connection equity 100% back to you.
So is Pinterest the only platform that does this? Because I'm under the impression the other platforms hate it when you outlink to another platform.
Yeah, Pinterest is not even a social platform. It's a search engine. And it's the only platform in the world that I know that is visually search based and is clickable back to your website. And it's a place that you can get 100% credit. So, for example, if you have Amazon affiliate links and somebody purchases your Amazon product from Pinterest because they saw a pin and you put an Amazon direct link in that actual image or video and they purchase it, you get that credit too. Because everything that's being posted on Pinterest from your business account is 100% equitable to your business. That's why UGC content, blogs, podcasts, books, Amazon affiliate links. Just recently, I even took a screenshot. I'll be talking about it soon. Pinterest just merged, like Pinterest Inc., Pinterest, the company, Pinterest merged with Amazon, meaning that it's going to come a time very soon, and people don't know this yet, that as an Amazon influencer, you can be on Pinterest and actually outlive your content, because Amazon influencers usually use Amazon to go live and to, use their products, but they don't have another place to live outside Amazon. Of course, you can go to TikTok, you can go to Facebook, Instagram. That's cool. But with now Pinterest, you can shop on Pinterest, and there are two badges you can get. You can get a red badge or a blue badge. A red badge means that you're a verified creator, and a blue badge means you're a verified merchant. So you don't even need to have the badge to do what you got to do on Pinterest. As long as you can do it, you have a website, if you have a catalog from a Shopify store, from a Wix store, from a WordPress store, you can actually have your actual shop on Pinterest. Just like on Instagram, how you can have Instagram shop, Facebook shop, you can have Pinterest shop. They used to even have Pinterest TV. It used to be there before, where you could go Pinterest live, but they don't do that anymore. But you can go live on these platforms, finish, bring it back to your Pinterest because it's fresh content. And that way people can find you for the first time. And also there's some statistics that was said that 60% of people who use Pinterest are also on Instagram. So you're not really missing out, because people think, oh, people on Pinterest, are they not, where could they be? They're on Pinterest and they're also on Instagram, just like someone can be on Threads and also be on Instagram. So if we look at it from that perspective and we put our website links on those pins, like imagine every Canva image you create has a link behind it that is located on Pinterest, and every link is linking back to your website. Every time you post, you're always going to be making more impressions. You get more followers. We did this for a client. She woke up the next morning. She's like, where did all these followers come from? I was like, it came from Pinterest, because she was doing, she had a glow skin company and she was helping women that, when needing help with eczema and, giving them really good skincare treatment products. And it just happened that even she went above Amazon. This was some years ago. So I was like, yeah, this is real. It really happens. And when I see it happen for clients, I just want I just want to see the smile on your face, because that's something that makes me happy, knowing that you can actually achieve it, knowing that it's possible, compared to just thinking, okay, yeah, it is, maybe, we never know. But if you find out and you see it actually happens, it can really take you to the next level. So definitely, I think this is the time to be on Pinterest and use it, and especially this second half of the year. If you use it, especially for the holiday season, because people who are actually buying Christmas trees already knew what Christmas trees they're going to be getting in April. That's how Pinterest planners plan. And 47% of the US population, which is about close to about 100 million out of 522 million Pinterest users, 47% of them have an annual household income of over $150,000. And if you think about the people who are planning, people who are purchasing, people who are actually there, it's a big deal. Even finance is a big deal on Pinterest because people will say, oh, yeah, it's just women on Pinterest. No, kids are on Pinterest, guys are on Pinterest, brands are on Pinterest, especially in September. Apple is notorious on Pinterest. Apple takes the whole cake. During September, when they're about to launch their new flagship product, every September without fail, from September 1st to 30th, Apple has a budget. Pinterest, they're going to be there. Whether you're using AT&T, Verizon, you're going to see Apple. Whether it's through them or through a company, a third party, you'll still see Apple because Apple knows the value of Pinterest when it comes to connection. Disney too, MasterCard. Not many companies advertise on Pinterest, but the ones that do, they know what they're doing. Cars, auto companies, automobile companies, they do that too. So Wayfair, furniture companies, because people know that these are things people plan ahead of time. People plan travel. People plan to purchase furniture. People plan to buy things. People plan to buy homes. So if you're on that platform and you're really doing it big, especially because you can target by zip code, game changer. So I've seen Pinterest and we do it and we've seen the results. And it's just a matter of just looking at it. And sometimes people think it's just going to be overnight, but Pinterest, the secret number is 4. If you give Pinterest 4 months, because there's a 5 month window, you'll be happy the rest of the year. So literally take 4 months out of 12. That's one quarter. Actually, that's one third. Sorry. That's one third of the year. And just look at what the other 2/3 are going to do. Because when you invest, you reap. If you don't, you weep. So it's up to you. What do you think, Renee?
So, yeah, this is really helpful. So, I want to get back to some of your numbers. First of all, the two things. I see here that you have a complimentary SEO discovery call. And so, I want to hear a little bit more about that. But before that, I'm wondering if you have like a cheat sheet, because one of the sets of numbers that I'm hearing you say is you said 400 posts per month. So, I did the math, and that's an average of say 12 to 15 posts per day. And quite frankly, I'm sitting here going like, I can't imagine coming up with 12 to 15 posts per day. And I'm sure that there's like a way to do that, to leverage things that have already built, or um like like that. But then, so that's the first part. And but let's say that I'm also like on some other social medias and I already have a schedule that I'm trying to keep up there. But now I've decided, based on this conversation, that I want to get into the Pinterest game. How am I gonna, like, do you have a cheat sheet that is like, here's how you do it? This is kind of what, this is how you can get in, like, start building yourself as an expert over those 4 months by thinking in terms of 400 posts or an average of 12 to 15 posts per day over the month. Do you have something like that that you can share? And if not, maybe we could work together to create something like that.
Thank you, Renee. That's a great question. Those are two great questions. So I'll start off with the last one because that's a very important question when it comes to scheduling, timing. This is something that, if, like you said, you're right, 12 to 15 posts a day, ain't nobody got time for that. Some people don't have time to even post once. Talk less of perfecting the post or pinning to the right people. It's gonna be stressful. It's kind of like trying to take your car and do your all change when you've never done it before, change your tire. You're gonna waste a lot of time than just calling AAA or calling your mechanic or calling whoever is gonna help you and getting that fixed within 30 minutes to at least 3 hours tops. And then, you could have saved yourself the stress. So why I'm giving you that analogy is because this is something that we do and we manage. We're a team of 10. On my team, we're a team of 10, and everyone has their own responsibility. And it's very exciting to see how everyone just dominates in their own world. And when we come together, we meet weekly on Mondays to discuss project teams, whether it's for websites we're building or clients that we're optimizing for podcasts or for Pinterest, or we're doing email marketing campaigns, we're running ads, we're doing AI conversions, we're doing anything related to that. We're creating those things right now. It helps long term. Now, this is my honest answer. And I want to make sure that you can get this too, because I don't have a cheat sheet, because I look at every single client, every single business with a new set of eyes. Why? Because Pinterest is that platform that if you try to just I can say spreadsheet and just say, okay, here's the blank sheet, fill it up. It could work great, but there's something I've realized that it takes a while to really understand the algorithm, especially if it's your first time. Like, we've built accounts from the very first account, and like fresh, literally sign up, email, phone number, no traffic. Now they're getting 10,000 at least monthly viewers a month on average, at the very least. And that is also translating, you're getting leads. So when you start realizing, okay, this actually takes a while, you have to understand too that there's going to be a time it's going to take that's going to build into it. But once you're able to understand it, you're able to grow from it. It helps. And let me say it like this: think about it like a planting season, because sometimes it's like, okay, I have to do this forever. No. If you answer all the questions that your company is answering or people are asking, let's say, Renee, you have in a year, right? We have 52 weeks in a year. For every week in the year, you have one new question. So, okay, we've been in business for 5, 10 years, and we get the same questions every year, every season. Like, we're going to July 4th now, so we know the exact kind of questions people are going to ask us. Now, because of seasonal SEO, because of seasonal platforms like Pinterest, people use Pinterest for seasonal purposes. So if I'm going to be writing content, I know, okay, we're going to be working together from July, August, September, then I know that we're going to be planning for the months ahead. Now, that doesn't just mean we're going to be just writing content because we want to write content. We're going to have a keyword strategy decision maker and understand within the first week, because we spend at least 1 week before we touch your account, before we do anything, before we switch on the lights. We spend a week to really understand who is your audience, where are they coming from, where are they going to, what do they need, why are they even here? And then from there, we're able to now start connecting. Because on Pinterest, if you start posting away, like you said, if you start posting 12, you could actually get spammed. There's a time we got an email and Pinterest suspended an account because they were thinking it was spam, but it wasn't, because it was a new account and we were creating boards. So they actually, they restored it back in 24 hours, because I had to reach out to the company. It was on a Sunday. It happened on a Sunday. And I was like, nah, you guys can't do this. So I sent an email. By Monday morning, it was up, because I had to speak with them. And it was quick. But at the same time, you had to understand that, okay, you can't just post randomly. So you have to really understand that, yeah, posting 15 times a day sounds like a lot, but posting 15 times a day can actually spam your account too. So there's a disparity. That's why there's a technique, a formula to this, that you can't just post, okay, I have 12 boards. Okay, I'm going to post once a day and call it a day. No, you get so tired that you look at 30 days, you'll be like, why did I waste all this time? Because there's a way we split it up. There's a way we connect the dots. And that's why keyword research is so important. And if we're able to do keyword research, then it helps you understand the algorithm faster, because it's usually within the first 4 months. That's why I said the number is four. But it's the first 4 months that you're able to decide, okay, what's going on with Pinterest, right? Because people don't know you on Pinterest. It's like, if I've never met you before and I see you for the first time and you surprise me, great. But that's not going to keep me there, because there's nothing to keep me there in the first place. But if something keeps me there, it's because I'm emotionally connected. Now that there's something we can connect to or connect with. So that's where Pinterest comes to play. And that's why Pinterest is a lot of interest. It's keywords and interest. So the more you're able to create content and you realize that, okay, we have 3 to 6 months to handle this, then we know, okay, within the first 2 quarters, we're going to tackle these questions and handle this. Then by the time you're looking at this long term, it helps. If you have a farm and let's say you're planting mangoes, pomegranates, grapes. And now you know exactly the season and the time it's supposed to be planted. You know that every year there's a certain amount of seeds, there's a certain amount of material you're going to need to achieve that goal, that one goal. So if you take that same concept on Pinterest and say that, okay, we know that we're in the summer season, every summer there's going to be this and this happening within our business operations, then we know that by this time next year, summer 2026, we're going to be handling the same things. So if we're able to handle them now, frequently asked questions, operations, policies, suggestions, ideas, summer plans, some of this, some of that, then now you become the topical authority, because when they now go to ChatGPT or they go to Ask Gemini or when they go to Cloud, you're going to be showing up because you have visual representation of what you've just described in form of a text. So it starts off with just having that keyword research down. Then you're able to understand, okay, how are we going to use this within the next week to now skyrocket the next 4 months? And then from that next 4 months, we're able to now watch back and see, okay, all the things that we've done, how are we able to plant them? Because when you plant seeds, you will expect them to grow, right? So when you plant those seeds within the first 4 months, you're not going to expect them to yield in the first 4 months. But within the next 4 years, you're going to see the benefit of that, because every year you're going to keep seeing that showing up every single season. There are sometimes I even see pins on Pinterest that have been posted back in 2013 that are right for this season when it comes to traveling. And I've seen that an article I'm reading from 2013 in 2025. How is that even possible? But it is, because Pinterest will give you exactly what you're looking for in the season. And then if the person behind that computer or behind that website or behind that SEO is focusing on publishing content, it starts off with your website. Because there's no way, like we've talked about, Renee, how we have first party, second party, third party. So second party is Pinterest, because you can control it, but you don't own it. But now that you can own and claim content, it means that you're claiming it because it's claimed on your website, which you own. So the claimed ownership is coming from the first party data acquisition. That's why the second party is actually giving you that acquisition forward back to your leadership, where you can post anything on Pinterest, whether it's an Amazon link, a YouTube link, and still get 100% equity, because you once upon a time claimed your account, which now gave you dominance, because that same video, that same link, that same Amazon thread, or that same post is showing up on your website. And that's how you're able to build that over time. And then when Google is suggesting content, you're the one that they suggest first, because you have the content in form of text, you have it in form of audio, if you have a podcast, and you have it in form of video if you're on YouTube. So you kind of like it's like a three-peat, three strikes. It's just home run for you at that point. So that's why there wouldn't be competition. And now with AI involved, you can even make it even better, because now you can end up with citations that are linking back to your website because you have claimed property on third-party sites. Does that make sense? Renee, if you're there, let us know if you're there. But I hope it also made sense to you listening too, because that was a very heavy question. And I wanted to make sure it was really understood as well, because Pinterest is not a platform to play with. It's a platform to really enjoy, but also it's a platform that you have to really learn to. So it definitely helps as well. Jamila has a question, and let me know when you're back, Renee, as well. So Jamila says, I'm in the travel industry. I'm testing out Pinterest now for my business. You are in the right place. I love travel. I'm a traveler too. I love travel. Love, love, love travel. And I'm so happy you're in the travel industry, because people need your type of resource. Because when it comes to planning before travel, because people plan on Pinterest, right? And if somebody's planning a trip and they find you in the mix, meaning that they find your content on their feed because they saw a pin that they like, just because of the words that you said on the visual text that was attributing to what they searched on the search box, then it's going to be a match made in heaven, because it's going to be like, okay, I searched for this and I got this. If I'm looking for, I want to go to Milan and I'm traveling and I want to know, what to think about or what to carry, then you're the one that's going to give that result. So if you break it down into different parts, especially on your website, you have categories and you have tags. So your website will have different categories Different categories could be different things: food, events, it could be, continents. Then tags could just be whatever is within those components. And then you're able to now tag and link them back to your website, which is now going into Pinterest. So it's definitely a great place to be. And it has to also create content for, for long term. Do you need to have a paid account on Pinterest? No. Pinterest business is free. In fact, I always say this: if you have a Pinterest personal account already, don't switch it to a business account, because it's personal first. So that's what it was intended for. So keep it personal. Create a second Pinterest business account, or a first Pinterest business account, or rather a second Pinterest account in general, and make that second account a business email username login, so that when you log in as a business and you now convert it from a personal to a business, you have everything within your business name. Because when you first connect your account to Pinterest, everybody connects accounts to Pinterest and they start off personal. But there's a setting section that allows you to convert from personal to business. So how you'll know you have a business account, Jamila, or anyone listening, is you'll see a business hub at the top left of your Pinterest. You're going to see a big P, and then you're going to see a hamburger sign, and then it's going to say Business Hub. And in that Business Hub, you'll find everything there. So if you have it, it will show. If you don't, then you'll need to convert it to and if you have one, it means that you went through the questions, because they're going to ask you questions. What's your business like? They're going to ask you a few questions before you set up your account. And then after you set up your account, you still have to go to the settings and still set up the account and claim it and do all those things. So it's like trying to set up before you drive your car. You have to check your tires, you have to check your oil, you have to check your everything, interior, exterior, before you're able to like drive smoothly. So it's the same thing with your Pinterest. So marketing on Pinterest is fun. It's very exciting. It's also very nerve-wracking, but it's one of the best things you can do for your business, because that can give you long-term success. Renee, did I answer your question? Because I don't know if you were still around.
I a friend walked up and I turned down the volume. So what I'm going to do is come back and listen to the replays, because this is very exciting to me, and I didn't hear about how we can work with you, but I can assume that I can click on that complimentary SEO discovery call pinned at the top of our page, and I can set up a conversation with you, because I think this makes a lot of sense for me.
Thank you,
Cool.
Renee.
And
Yes.
I do got to jump off because I got to get going, but thank you so much. And I'm really
You're
inspired.
welcome, Renee. Yes, you can click the link above and save it. Also, come back, listen to a replay, and I'll definitely keep in touch with you after this so that we can connect and then see what we can do next week to make sure I can see what you have planned for at least the second half of the year and get that going.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Take good
Thank you.
care.
You too. Great conversation, y'all. This is exciting. I'm happy that we're here and talking about Pinterest, because this is one topic I feel like has been underrated, and people are asking about this, and not many people are talking about Pinterest. And I feel like if we can do Pinterest the way we do it, the way we are doing it now, we're going to be in a much better position. And it's just a matter of time. Pinterest and podcasts are the two fastest trains to success. And let me say it this way. Let me just give you a little disclaimer. It doesn't mean that those two don't have you don't have to work smart. You have to be very smart in how you work those two platforms, because when you use a Pinterest and podcast and you're connected through social media, you're connected through your website, you're connected through platforms like Google, like YouTube, you're using other sources to power up your Pinterest and power up your podcast. You're gonna see a huge dramatic. It's huge. Like the the way you see your account grow, it should be like, what is going on? And I'm looking at it from different accounts. It's not just one. So it could be a mistake if it was one, but when it's happening to one, two, three, four, five, you're like, okay, yeah, this is it's not a fluke anymore. It's actually happening. So I'm gonna dive deeper into that before we leave the room today. But thank you so much for being here. Jamila, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you for giving us that insight about travel. Tell us a little bit about your business and what you do. And if you're using social media, what are you using it for? And how you thinking about Pinterest now that you've heard a little bit differently about, the perspective on how Pinterest works.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jamela Martin, and I'm the owner of Events and Especially for You Travel. Um, Social media is always a challenge for me. I am not really great when it comes to social media. I don't feel like that's a strong suit of mine. So I try to give it to people on my team, but I just feel like we're just not consistent when it comes to social media. So it's really hard to grow with no consistency.
Question. When you communicate with your community, do you do it through email marketing? Is it through social? Is it through in person? Maybe events? How is interaction business wise?
Oh, as far as business, we do email marketing. So we're consistent with the email marketing, but I'm saying we're not consistent as far as posting. But as far as the clients, we have really great relationships. We have good rapport with the clients. We have good rapport and the travel industry as a whole. We do in-person events. We do global traveling certifications, visits to properties. So as far as that, we're pretty good in that area.
Okay, then last question. Do you have a website? And if you do, is it active based on weekly, at least weekly to bi-weekly at the very least update?
It is active, but it hasn't been a weekly or bi-weekly upgrade. I've worked with someone to rebrand it, and then he kind of disappeared. So I'm working with someone else, and we're just going through everything one at a time to see what needs to be revised. So yes,
Okay.
it's an active website.
Okay. And then the second part of that last question is have do you know if SEO has been done for the website as far as the technical on page and off page?
Now, I don't know. I didn't know that it was a difference with on and off page. So I don't have that answer.
Okay, so thank you for that feedback because when you have a website, especially because I believe the website is also being sent through email. That means if somebody is getting an email, they're possibly getting a link to your website. And then the social media too is also a big component because social media is off page SEO and your website blogs is on page SEO. Off
Uh,
page SEO, yeah, off page SEO is like reviews. Hey, I like this restaurant. I named the restaurant. Now that's off page because I'm off your page, but I'm talking about your page. That's why reviews are big for off page reviews and off page SEO. So the more reviews you have that talk about your brand, that's why whenever you leave a review at a food restaurant, they tell you, okay, is it serving? Is it dining? Is it takeout? Because when people are looking for those keywords, they're going to find that off-page SEO key phrase that's going to let them know if that's the restaurant for them or not. So that's the same thing that applies with your business. So when you have off-page SEO through social media, it means you're making brand mentions off your website to social media so that people can find you on those platforms. That's why a platform like Pinterest gives you like long-term off-page SEO because you're getting that 5 months bandwidth. You can still do it on LinkedIn, on Instagram, on Facebook, but that's just going to give you those quick brand mentions to get people's attention, to get people engaged, to comment, to like, to follow, to subscribe. Those are great things that can happen. But when we now look at it from a long term perspective, we kick everything off with a website because we don't want to be posting social media posts on a daily basis when nobody's even visiting the website from social media. So everything starts at home. Yeah, so we start off with your website. Make sure first of all your website because everything is from your website. Everything we're going to do SEO wise is starting from your website because it's your domain. Your domain is connected to your hosting. Your domain is connected to your mailbox, which is your business email address. Your domain is connected to your email marketing CRM. your domain is connected to your website. It's everywhere. It's going to be social media posted. There's going to be a link that's going to go back to your website. So if you're tracking everything from the jump, everything has to be interconnected to the point where even the actual protocol has to be done. Because some people will say, okay, what's your URL? www dot, yet you don't have a CNAME, and a CNAME stands for canonical name, which is another way of just saying, is this the preferred way of how your name is said? Just like, let's say you have, first name, middle name, last name, and maybe it's now middle name, first name, last name. The canonical way is it's supposed to be said first name, middle name, last name. So when it keeps like that, that's how it's going to be pronounced. So if you do the same concept and put that on your website, if your website is https colon slash slash www dot your domain.com, that's the exact name. So if that's not the exact name in other places in that exact phrase match, then it's not going to click because Google's not going to attribute that link because it's the wrong name. It's like saying, okay, if you missed a letter, you can't get this application fulfilled because now there's a problem with your name. It becomes a whole mess. So it's the same thing that applies to your online presence because there's something called NAP, NAP, name, address, phone number. So if those things are congruent, if they're compliant, and they're also connected back to your website, that's where SEO comes in, because SEO is not just blogs and keywords and fancy pictures, because that's what most people would think it is. But SEO starts from the technical. How fast is your loading speed? Is your website connected to the search console? Is it connected to Google Analytics? Is it connected to Google Tag Manager? Are these done? And these are free tools that you're given by Google because Google wants you to also make sure that you have your content on the web. So when we now look into those things, do the audits, that's how we get to know whether it's been done or not, whether it's been built on WordPress, Wix, Squarespace, Shopify. We're able to see that from the front end. And then when we now have access to the back end, we can now integrate those systems so that social media wise, if let's say, for example, like you mentioned, Jamila, that social media is what you need now, we can use Pinterest, create the social media presence. And let's say Instagram would be that place that you want to also still have, communications with people. Then Pinterest will now connect with Instagram. So anytime Instagram is posted, Pinterest gets a copy. And then Pinterest and Instagram can talk to each other, which still talks to Google and which still talks to, the web. So, and that could be AI, SEO, it could be ChatGPT, Perplexity, just because everything is hosted under one server. So that's really how you can connect everything back together. Does that make a better picture?
Yes, and I do have offline presentation because you said now I understand what you mean when you said offline. We also do the reviews through Google My Business, so we get a lot of traffic that way.
That's good. So do you use the update section?
On Google My Business,
Yeah.
yes, and we get clients through there as well.
That's good. And do you link it back to the website?
I believe the website also has Google My Business on there, like reviews from clients live on the website.
Okay, so normally when you have your Google Business profile, you have the website there next to your phone number, the address, if somebody wants
Mm-hmm.
to make an appointment. And now when you make an update, there's a section in the update section where when you make an update, you can actually link the website. So when you link the website, instead of people just looking at an update as a post, because when it's an updated post, it looks like an Instagram post. You can just view it. You can like it. I mean, you can like it on Instagram, but you can't really like it on Google where people can see it. But if you want to turn that view into a clickable view or view into a click, then that's where you add the link from your
Okay.
website into it. Yeah. And then it even gives you different options. It says call now or learn more or shop now. It gives you different options. If you have products, even better, because if you have products in your website, you can bring those products to the front end of your Google Business profile. If you have your social media profile, you've not connected it, you can actually add links to your social media profile on your Google Business profile. So these are things that you can do for free on the platform that when you enhance your profile that way, now it makes you ready to now be in the market with a high value exchange. And that's the whole point of the room today with Pinterest as well, because these are things that should be done even before we work together. But if they're not done, that's what we get done first. So either way it goes, that's going to be something that has to be task completed, because without those things being done and integrated, it will be hard for us to track when we start looking at the numbers on a scalable format.
Okay, I'll check and make sure it's updated.
Awesome.
I'm also gonna schedule. I'm gonna schedule an appointment with you.
Thank you, Jamila. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. This is great, guys. Thank you so much for these questions. I feel like this has definitely helped a lot of us, because this is where conversations begin. And if we can use Pinterest for the right reasons, we can really help you see the the goals. And let me even mention this to you now before we go. Around March, we're in June now. So around March, we we started 6 new Pinterest business accounts. 6 in March. And right now, all of them are doing extremely well, over 10,000 monthly viewers baseline. Some of them are in 20, some of them are in 30. It's just doing well for them. Even today, I had a meeting with a client. She was like, "Hey, we got new followers on Pinterest." She was like, "Yeah," because when we first started, she was the only follower on her Pinterest account. Now she has 15, 14, 15 plus her. So it's like, okay, where did they come from within the first month? It's because of growth. It's hard to even get a follow on Pinterest. For someone to follow you, it's like you're asking them for a, I don't even know what you're going to ask them for to give it to you, that they'll give it to you. But when you earn it, it feels better when you earn it, because you actually see the result from your hard work. So we're seeing a lot of tremendous success organically. We've not spent a dollar. And with the day we start spending dollars on those accounts, it's going to be easy for them to even spend, because they've already earned trust from the organic view. Because Pinterest, you may let me say it this way. I did a room about this. This was some months ago. I don't know, Dr. Fashion, I think you were there. Yeah, I think it was a while back when I spoke about ads, and I was saying that the platforms that have the highest rate of ads skipped is YouTube, and the lowest skipped is Pinterest. But guess what? Even though it's the highest skipped on YouTube, people want to watch on YouTube organic content because they want to enjoy what their channels are. When you hear channel, it means that that's what I'm interested in. I'm not interested in the ad, I'm interested in the channel. So that's why people skip. But on Pinterest, you can't even tell the difference between an organic ad or a paid ad, because you can still have an organic ad. The only difference between an organic and paid ad is the paid ad is paid, the organic is not paid. It's still an ad. It's just that you're using paid dollars, or you're using paid currency to amplify what you're organically promoting. So it's the same thing. So if you're looking at it from an organic perspective and you're like, okay, if we're going to promote content like we're promoting an ad, and then the day we promote an ad, we're doing better because we actually know what people are looking for, then you're going to have a higher conversion lift, because now you've actually appealed to the audience, you've understood what they asked for, and now you're not guessing. So that's where things start to change. And you can use Pinterest for that very reason. You can go so well with the platform because your website starts to grow. People start reaching out to you. You start getting backlinks. One of them ended up on Wall Street Journal. The other one ended up on TV. The other one ended up getting a backlink. The other one has gotten a request to, be on a show. It's just things happening, and you're just like, okay, thank God. Because when you believe in what you have and you can plan ahead of time, Pinterest is one platform that you can never go wrong, because the pins you put today will be things you will still benefit tomorrow, because Pinterest is not a platform you just set and forget. You can put pins today, and 5 years from now, you're still benefiting. We have clients that we worked with in 2020, they're still benefiting off pins today because they're still winning, because we pinned YouTube links into their Pinterest, which has now amassed them to get thousands of subscribers organically. When people find hair products, they look for them, they find them on Pinterest. When they're searching, they connect them with their YouTube, they follow them on YouTube, they follow them on social media. Now they're on Amazon, they're on Walmart. And in the beginning, they were not even on Instagram. They were just barely, posting. So when you look at the growth and you see how people have morphed, I'm just happy to see that, because I know it's just a matter of time that it takes for someone to really understand what you're looking for. And if you know that you want to do it between this time and that time, then you can plan. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that's why I like to come here, give you this information, help you understand it, so that when you're able to look back, you know that, okay, it was once said, and I once heard it. So at least now I can hear it twice to actually understand it better, because you don't really understand everything the first time, me included. But when you keep hearing it over and over, you're like, okay, makes sense. Now it's connecting. And it may take a while, but the day it connects, that's the day you'll be like, okay, now it clicks. So I appreciate you, and I'm looking forward to connecting with each and every one of you. Jamila, thank you again. Looking forward to connecting with you soon. 56, thanks for being here. Pete, Dr. Fashion, Niles, Ryan, Alicia, Monique, Michelle, and Apothecary Tiff, thank you for being here. Appreciate you so, so much. We're going to be here on June 30th. June 30th is a Monday. And for those who are going to be here on a Monday at 1 p.m. Central, I'm going to be talking about 2025 SEO Explained. What are SEO, AIO, GEO, AEO, and SXO? You're like, huh? We're going to deal with those acronyms on Monday. So please ask your questions. Be there, RSVP. Click at the very top that says Marketing Club and RSVP, so that you can be here. Add it to your Google Calendar, add it to your Apple Calendar, and be here so that you can learn about what these terms are. I had a call with someone today from India, and I'm going to say this right now. I had a call with someone from India today, and we're going to be meeting again on Tuesday, because I saw a post from his partner on LinkedIn, and it wasn't on Google. And I connected with him today, and he was like, yeah, we got to do some partnership deals. Now, why am I bringing this story up? There's a website called Ethio. Today's the first time I got to know the name, how to actually pronounce it. So I said, I told him today when I go to Clubhouse, I'm going to talk about it. I'll tell my friends, I'll tell everybody that this is how you actually say it, because I heard it from the horse's mouth. I heard it from the actual person who built the platform. It's called Ethio, right? So ETHEO.co, right? Ethio. Ethio is a visibility tool. You can put your website, and you can literally see where you rank when you look at your website compared to competitors talking about the same thing you talk about on ChatGPT, Claude, and Gemini. And you're going to have 5 prompts. And out of those 5 prompts, it's called Ethio, ETHEO. I'm going to put the link in the chat. Yeah, it's called Ethio.co. It's a free account right now. He told me that it's going to be paid very soon. You guys, that's why room is called exclusive updates for a reason, because you don't get this every time. So this link is called Ethio.co, right? Check it out. It's an AI visibility tool. Check out your website, and you'll see whether your website ranks or even shows up anywhere. And if it doesn't, that's called LLM SEO, because large language model SEO. That's why next week I'm starting off with what is SEO, AEO, GEO, SXO, AIO. I want to start off with the basics. So when we start going deeper into this information, you're not lost, because the last thing I want to do is lose you. So look at that link, check it out, play with it, install it. It's free. It's not going to be free forever. That's what he told me. So check it out. In the next few weeks, things are going to change. And that's what we're using to help our clients grow with podcasts, with Pinterest, with SEO. Hey, Mimi, welcome. So you have to look at SEO differently in 2026. And one of the fastest ways that you can actually do it, and I actually did a test. Yeah, I did a test with a client today with Ethio, because we've been using it for the past 2 weeks now. And I showed her, she's showing up, like, because you have 11 positions. She's showing up in position 7. She's like, oh my goodness, I'm next to Tony Robbins. I'm next to Mel Robb. I was like, yeah, in the system, that is what it is, because there are billions of websites, and because we've been doing SEO and Pinterest for the last 2 months, 3 months now with her, she's now showing up seventh place. So we're like, okay, now we want to move from 7 to 5 to 3 to 1. And anything that is on that platform. And I told her, all these people you see here who are being mentioned by ChatGPT, they all have a podcast. Tony Robbins has a podcast. Mel Robbins has a podcast. Brene Brown has a podcast. Everybody, every single one of them. And I was like, that's a secret. Have a podcast, have a multimedia format like Pinterest, a search engine like Google with your website, talk about topics, answer them with your voice. So when Siri, ChatGPT, Alexa, and all these other platforms answered it in their own voice, it's your voice that you're hearing, or it's your voice that is echoing through those words. So we talked about vocalizing your keywords yesterday, because it's all about realizing that we're coming to a time now that it's no longer best restaurants near me. It's, hey, where can I find the best sushi that is fried? Because I'm allergic to this, or I don't like peanut oil, whatever it is, you're going to be very specific in how you're going to ask questions. So gone are those days when we do 3 to 5 keywords. So we got to think about conversations, and the more conversations we have with the engines and the more answers we give, the better we're going to be. And the faster we're going to trend, and the faster we're going to stay. And if you're able to capture this right now, it's different. He told me this. I'll tell you this too, because I love to give you guys information. I don't like to keep this information to myself. And that's why I have a podcast to help you understand this. He said this, and I'll give you some feedback too on this. So, first of all, about 43%, this is what I wanted to mention from yesterday, 43% of the World Wide Web is used on WordPress. 43%. Now, 40% of the World Wide Web's searches, right, is being operated by AI. That's why Google, you can name Microsoft, you can keep filling the blank. Yeah, I use WordPress. Yes, we build on WordPress too. So it's perfect. And there's some really cool Google tools that we use on WordPress that really make you even end up in the discovery tab, because Google has two brains. There's search and discovery. Search is where everybody shows up. Discovery is where everybody ends up. So you have to end up where people are going to show up for you. It's like a whole math thing going on here, but I love the science behind it. So when you're looking at it from a perspective of content, then you're using your content to really make sure that you're answering questions as a podcast verbatim, then putting that question mark into question and answering it in form of your experience, and then you can cite it. Because when you're looking for information, Google is going to look for citations that they trust. ChatGPT is going to find citations that they trust. So if they trust you, they're going to trust you through a second party source. I don't know if that makes sense. Meaning that if I have a podcast and I'm talking about the best ways to travel in 2025, or how to save money on flights, or if I want to buy a flight, is it better to buy flights at the airport, or is it better to buy flight tickets a day before, a week before, or 45 days before? You're answering those questions, right? Now, when you're coming to a platform like this and you're answering that question in form of a voice, meaning that you're using your voice to answer it on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify, on iHeart, on Amazon, on Pandora. You're putting your content on every of these platforms, and you're out there. Now, when ChatGPT is asking, or let me even say responding back, and you're the person that they show up and say, oh yeah, according to this podcast by on Spotify, this is it. And that happens. I've seen, if you look at my LinkedIn, you'll see on my LinkedIn, I actually showed the way I did that with Pinterest, and how I also did that with Clubhouse Plus too. And I did a 2 section. One was on Spotify, one was on ChatGPT. And you can see exactly how they both matched, because I realized that for you to really show up on these platforms, you have to answer the questions exactly they're asked. And if you answer them, it's like if I come to you and ask you a question and you answer the question directly, that's a question answered. That's a tick. That's a green check mark. Now we go to the next question and keep doing that. The more we answer those questions, the better we get at responding. The faster we get at responding, the more people are going to ask the same question, because now it's becoming a common question. So when it's a frequently asked question, it means that frequently, any time of the day, any time of the night, is going to happen that this question is going to be asked. So if I can answer this question every time somebody's asking, then I'm the person that always show up as a leader. There's something called leader, top three, then there's low visibility, and then there's no visibility. That's kind of like the new ranking method for AI now. So if you think about leader, top three, low visibility, and then no visibility, it's kind of like you have to know where you have to be based on the number of mentions that you get. So your mentions is based on the number of answers you give in the form of the podcast episodes, in the form of the blogs, in the form of the topics that you answer. And the more questions you answer, the better you get. So just think about that long term and ask yourself, in this second half of the year in 2025, what do I really want to do? Do I want to be putting content out forever that people are not seeing? Or do I want to put content that when people ask the right questions, I show up with the right answer? That's the big question for you today. So I really appreciate you for bringing all these questions today. And definitely it's going to be something that you're going to try out today. So if you have any questions, feel free to click the link above. Let's get on a 30-minute call. We'll talk. You'll get to know how we work. We get to understand how we flow. And within the next 1 to 7 days, we get started so that you can also show up for the people that you're connecting with. And we use every week to make sure that you can end up at the end of the week better than you started off the first week. So I'm really excited to be here with you. So you're welcome, Jamila, and I'm looking forward to the call too. Mimi, thanks again for that amazing specials. Everyone in the room, hey, what's going on? Thanks for being here. So, y'all, have a great day and evening. And please try these things out. Don't just listen to this, because the last thing I want to do is not come up here and talk about these things and y'all not doing anything about it, because I want you to do something and see the results, because the results are in your hands. You have the power to choose. So if you choose well and you choose wisely, you'll be able to choose things that will actually help you succeed. And I want to see you succeed too. That's why we're here talking about Pinterest marketing, exclusive updates plus high value markets. So if this helped you, please put a one in the chat. That will help me know that this helped you. And I'm able to come here as well to give you more information. So let's go. Put a one in the chat if you're available. If you're driving, don't touch your phone. But I know it's an international app. So if you're available, please put it in the chat. Let me know. And I'd love to hear back from you. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate you with the 111. I see the ones coming in. Monique, thank you. Appreciate that. Feedback is really good because people can be quiet, but if you just give that one feedback, that is a big currency, and that's a big, what do they call it? Social currency? Yeah, because that says a lot about, what you're doing, and that gives more insight. So thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you, Monique. And also thank you, Apothecary. Appreciate you for the ones. So have a wonderful day and enjoy your weekend. Stay hydrated. It's getting hot everywhere. So please stay hydrated and have a blessed evening. And I'm going to see you guys on Monday. God bless you and take care. Bye for now.